If you've ever worked for a micromanager, you know exactly what it feels like. Every decision questioned, every email reviewed, every ounce of trust missing. And the worst part, you start to doubt yourself, not because you're not capable, but because their control issues made you forget that you are. In this video, you'll learn my 3 proven tactics to deal with a micromanager effectively, my exact scripts to use and inspire from, and simple strategies to help you take back control without creating more tension. And make sure you stay until the very end, because my last tactic is an absolute must to protect your credibility with confidence. I see too many women in corporate dealing with this quietly, convincing themselves it's just part of the job. But it's not. It's a symptom of your boss's insecurity, and if you're not careful, it will stall your career and limit your growth. So let's dive in. Now, my first of 3 tactics to deal with a micromanager effectively is to preempt their control with proactive structure. Because here's the thing, micromanagers don't necessarily crave control, they want certainty. And when they don't have this kind of visibility, that's when they spiral into control mode, leading to constant check-ins, reviewing your work, and slowing everything down, including yourself. So how do you preempt their control with proactive structure? Well, the best way to do this is through proactive communication on your terms. What I mean is, instead of waiting for your boss to hover over you, feed them the information before they even ask for it. This can sound something like, I know how important this project is for this quarter, so I'll send a Friday recap outlining key milestones, any risks, and next week's priorities. That way, you'll always have visibility into my progress on this. What's great with this is it's concise, to the point, and helps you get ahead of this proactively with your boss. And if you want to take it a step further, this is a great email template I recommend using, where you are proactively, once again, updating your boss, sharing where you're at with your certain deliverables, also outlining any upcoming priorities for alignment, and still giving your boss the opportunity to add any context or additional priorities that they recommend that you focus on as well. You can also use this template multiple times over at the beginning of a project, midway through a project, or at certain time-based milestones that you're working towards that you've aligned on with your boss. And pro tip, make your recaps more visual. For example, if your boss loves details, use a one-pager or a dashboard that you can easily update every week or every couple of weeks that they can access as well. Because remember, the more predictable and consistent you are with your updates, the less need your boss will feel to chase you for them. And when they stop chasing you, that's when you get your autonomy back. Plus, it also reinforces their trust in you that you can get things done properly without them being as actively involved. Now let's shift to tactic number 2 in how to deal with a micromanager effectively. This is where you want to ask questions that shift the responsibility back to them. The reality is that micromanagers don't mean to create chaos, but their lack of clarity does. They give moving targets, contradict feedback, and then question your choices. Sound familiar? The thing is, they don't know how to articulate what good actually looks like, and so they keep hovering instead of defining success and delegating properly. But the moment you start asking clear, outcome-based questions, you shift from being managed to managing the process. Not to mention, this does 2 really important things with your boss. First, it forces your boss to define expectations before moving the goalpost later. And second, it shows you're someone who's strategic and proactive, not someone waiting around for direction. So this is where I want you to use my A/B question strategy. Instead of leading questions with, what do you think, or what's your input, or what would you like to do, which is very open-ended and doesn't typically lead to anything good with a micromanager. Instead, my A/B question strategy gives your boss 2 clearly defined paths that they can choose between. This can sound something like, would you prefer I prioritize our launch timeline for this version and keep as is, or add those extra details with a 1-week delay on the launch? Or another example, should I send this directly to the VP today for initial feedback and visibility, or would you rather I refine it another day before I send it out? The beauty of using A/B styled questions is that your boss has to give you an answer. They have to get clear with you instead of being ambiguous or leaving things up in the air. Now, it might feel like you're spoon-feeding your boss here a little bit, but again, this is about controlling the narrative and getting what you need from them without any confusion or ambiguity. And here's a few other examples I put together for you, just depending on the situation that you're facing with your micromanager. For example, when the goal keeps shifting, you can ask something like, to confirm, is our primary success metric X, Or is the priority now leaning more towards why? Or when the feedback you're getting conflicts with an earlier direction, this is where you can say something like, that's a helpful context. To make sure I adjust properly, should I go back to the original approach or align with this new direction now? Or what about when your micromanager is too vague? That happens a lot, right? This is where you want to bring in specificity to your A/B style question approach. Something like, could you share an example of what you'd like to see more of on this? I want to ensure I approach it right, and this added clarity would be useful for me to move forward effectively. And my third tactic to deal with a micromanager effectively is to document decisions to protect your credibility. Because look, when you work with a micromanager, the goalpost can move really quickly. What was approved on a Monday could suddenly turn into, that's not what I asked for, or I don't recall saying that by Thursday. Frustrating, right? That's why you need to document your interactions. I can't emphasize this enough. Not only does it serve as your paper trail, but it also protects you in moments when you need it most. And the key is to sound collaborative, not overly cautious. You don't want it to come off as I don't trust you vibes, but rather I care about alignment and results, and I know that's important for you too. For example, I want to quickly recap our earlier discussion to make sure we're aligned and moving forward with specific action as agreed. Or another example, following our status today, I'll be shifting my focus towards X as per your direction. Let me know if anything changes before the deadline and I can adjust from there. Or another example, thank you for the clarification in today's meeting. To confirm, we're now moving forward with fill in the blank on the new direction instead of fill in the blank on the previous version. I'll update the team accordingly. And pro tip, use anchor emails at key moments to document everything properly. And you can use my easy 5-step flow to help you with this. First, start off with what you've agreed to in terms of next steps and literally list those out in bullet point format. Next, you want to get into the decisions that were made, and you can quite literally list out the key calls or approvals that have already been done. Then shift into my actions. This is where you recap what you're owning and the deliverable timelines associated with that. Then you're going to lead into open items, which is where you highlight what's pending still from your boss or what additional support you might need from them. Finally, you'll close it off with a short ending note that you'll keep them updated as things progress. You can also file these types of emails in a priority folder within your inbox or by project, something that helps you pull them out easily if ever your boss is coming back, changing their mind, or trying to move the needle on things that have already been decided on. This is also going to save you a lot of headaches and unnecessary conflict that you can avoid. So to recap, my 3 tactics to deal with a micromanager effectively include number 1, preempting their control with proactive structure. 2, asking questions that shift the responsibility back to them. And 3, documenting decisions to protect your credibility. If you found this helpful, or you're even looking for more scripts, strategies, and communication templates to show up as your best at work and build your confidence, I've got you covered. I put together my free Confident Communication Playbook, which includes 50 of my best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. I cover a variety of situations and challenges within this playbook to make sure that you can show up with full confidence. Grab your free copy in the description below. You're going to love it. And thank you so much for watching today's video. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was. Or if you've been struggling with a micromanager, let me know what's been coming up for you. I would love to know what really resonated with you from today's video. Just go ahead, drop it in the comments. I personally respond back to everyone. And be sure to subscribe to my channel because every week I share new videos to help women in corporate level up faster the way that you deserve. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.